Hello, I'm Gary Livesay, served as the associate pastor at Bloomington Wesley United Methodist from 1980 to 89. We came at the same time that Bert and Dee Dee Lancaster came, July 1st, 1980. I want to share with you a devotion message that I created for our Chaddock students, a couple of 3 weeks after Easter. It's still very relevant for this day. I pray that we all receive everything we need, not only to get through these COVID-19 days, but all our days. May God shower some blessings down upon you, and you be open to all the possibilities that God has for you. Hear this message, which was delivered for our Chaddock students, but it's just as relevant for myself, and I think for you too. God bless. Earlier in the week with the groups, I talked about how the disciples were really scared and confused and didn't know where to go when this teacher that had been leading them around and showing them how to love and forgive and heal others, he said he was going to die, but they didn't really believe it, and then he ended up getting killed, a very violent death, and they scattered. They didn't know what to do. So when people are upset and anxious, they go back to safe older behaviors, older things that they'd done that brought comfort to them. So they went fishing. And you remember they were fishing because that's what they had done, and they weren't catching anything. And this person of authority, they weren't sure who it was at first. They were out in a boat fishing with nets. He said, "Hey, cast your nets on the other side of the boat." And I said, man, I'd really be irritated if somebody told me that. I've been fishing all night. Don't you think I did both sides of the boat? Come on. But they did it because he seemed to have authority. And as soon as they did that, they started catching fish. So many it was almost breaking their nets. 153 fish is what the story tells us. And then they come on to shore. And then they don't say anything, the disciples don't, but they say, hey, this is Jesus, but they don't even have to say it. And he's there ready. He's got a charcoal fire going so that he might take one of their fish and start a breakfast for them, because they'd been fishing all night long. And the Bible story says he had bread, and he broke the bread with them, and he had charcoal fish that he shared with them. One of the really powerful things about this story that I like so very much is how so often we don't think we're going to have enough of what we really need. And when things go really bad and they're really difficult, we think we're not going to have enough. We're not going to have enough nice clothes or the latest gaming equipment or sound equipment, or we're not going to have enough possessions. And sometimes we're going to think we're not going to have enough friendships, enough good relationships. We're just not going to have enough. And this story reminds me, at a time that was just incredibly chaotic and upsetting to those disciples, Jesus came along and in a way he said, you're going to have enough. Here, let's eat. Let's celebrate that there's new life from seeming death. And I like that story for so many of my Chaddock family and friends, because you're all you've gone through some really tough stuff. And you go through times when you don't think you're going to have enough. But I'm convinced that you are going to have enough. Those of you of faith might take this story more literally and it gives you real assurance that Jesus is still with us. Those of you that aren't sure about faith, I still want you to be inspired by this story and be reminded that you're going to have enough. You're going to be provided for. And it's a hard thing to hold fast to, But I'm convinced in all my years of working with Shaddock students and all the stories I hear back from them later on, they do make it. They do find a way. It's tough sometimes, ups and downs, but they do find a way. And that's certainly what I'm hoping for all of you. I wish you were here to be able to smell this. It just smells wonderful. I'm actually using catfish fillet and salmon with some lemon pepper on it, and it's a natural charcoal. It is tasty. I've got some sweet bread that we're going to partake of, and the sounds and the beauty of this time. You can see the water is just calm and really beautiful, and I hope that you can enjoy that thought. You can hear the cardinals out, the birds out singing. That's a red-winged blackbird. Just the beauty of creation just gives me so many assurances that things are going to be all right. Now this COVID thing, again, I'm getting tired of it. But I'm convinced that there's enough people working hard enough on the issues that we're going to be all right. It might seem like we don't have enough supplies to fight this battle, but we're going to figure it out, and we're going to have enough. Let me see how this is doing. Oh my, turning golden brown. Oh, it is so very, very good. I know you wish you could be here, and I wish you could be here too. Miss Pam is one that often did the charcoaling while I gave a little message when we were able to go out and do things at some camps and at some other places where there were lakes or ponds. And so tell Miss Pam that I mentioned that, how good a job she always did cooking the fish. But again, remember, we're going to have enough even when we think we're not. And things are going to settle down to become better even when we think they won't. There was Jesus after the resurrection. Everybody had scattered, but he came to them and he assured them, you're going to have enough. Let's have some fish. Let's have some bread. Let's heal our hearts and minds. And that's what I'm convinced is going to happen during these next months. Blessings to you. Take care.